So good morning, Travels with Dottie here, and I'm going to do a few comments. They've been interesting lately. Um, the most recent video, no, I did not quit RV life. I talked about the average um, income across the country for retirement. I talked specifics about my income. The latest one was a judgmental comment about my income. So that person got fed to Bruce, and that person will no longer be permitted to comment on here. Also, people wanting to know, hey, I want to know exactly what you're paying for your home base. I'm not disclosing where my home base is. I'm not disclosing exactly how much I pay. There are things I choose to disclose. I didn't see any harm in telling people about my income. I wanted to encourage other people that wonder, if they can be comfortable and be happy in this lifestyle and with their income. That's why I did that. But I'm not going to disclose personal details just because people tell me that they think that I should. That's not going to happen. Sorry. Shauna in that video says, I need a birdsong app to identify those beautiful background medleys. Hope Eagle's Nest is a blast for you. Yeah, there's a lot of birds around where I live, and there's always bird chirping in the background. There's a bird living in my porch. There's a nest up there with a couple of babies in it. It's really, if you like bird sounds, it's pretty nice around here. And Eagle's Nest, a week or so. I'm thinking about leaving a little early. I was going to leave the middle of the month. Maybe next weekend. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe next weekend. I'll figure it out. Marie says, thank you for the great tips on how to approach new people, plus a reminder not to take rejection so personally. Your 25-26 quartzsite RV season video should prove helpful. Couple of things there. If you didn't see that video, I talked about, there are a lot of people that feel introverted that are in the lifestyle, and they wonder, well, how do I meet people? I was just suggesting, even if you have to fake it a little, smile when you encounter people, like in the RV park or out in the desert. Smile and say hi. That was my sole suggestion. And if people just grumble or look down at the ground, don't take it personally, because guess what? You don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know. And it's probably nothing to do with you. Okay, so that was my advice there. And my 25-26 quartzsite RV for the first time, I'm going to stay in town for the whole season in an RV park. Hopefully I'll get in. I'm on the wait list, but I'm number one on the wait list, so I'm very hopeful there. So I'm pretty excited about that. Let's see. Once again, I enjoyed your today video. Your plan of doing videos around Eagle's Nest is perfect for me. It'll give me some insight things to do before we get there. That's Joe McIntosh. I believe Joe and his wife are planning on spending 10 days there towards the end of July, if I remember right. Here we go. I'm going to read this, and I'm going to talk about why I think this attitude isn't productive. Okay. Animal Man says, the problem today compared to older generations is that people today want everything now. I didn't go through life buying the newest cell phone every year, or have cable TV, or $7 Starbucks coffee, or eat at McDonald's every day, or a big screen TV in every room, or the fancy apartment. People today don't have the willpower to even think about tomorrow, even if they make good money. They just want the expensive Ford Mustang or big pickup truck. They will soon realize how much they messed up when they hit old age. I live in an 84 mobile home in a nice Florida area with low rent. And being debt-free, I add to my silver pile during the year. I could go spend thousands on driving around doing things, but I never did much during my life, so I can't miss what I didn't do. At 65, I do lift some weights, which is free and keeps me in the best shape. I'm being free from working, considering I work construction my whole life. I don't need lots of money, and most people would say, don't you get bored? And I say no. Okay, so lots of good stuff in here, right? And he's making the point that you can be happy and retire on very little money. And on one hand, on the other hand, he's making a sweeping judgment of people that are younger than he. And I think that's not productive. I think that's a big mistake. I think Having cable TV is not a sign of irresponsibility. And cable TV is sort of on its way out, by the way. And $7 Starbucks coffee is, you know, that's a lot of money for a cup of coffee. When I was a kid, a cup of coffee was 50 cents. I get that, but person that has one cup of Starbucks coffee that costs $7 every day, I wouldn't consider them irresponsible. And eating McDonald's every day, boy, if you use the app and do the discounts, you can be pretty frugal eating at McDonald's. The question is, how healthy is it? But I don't think that's what he's talking about. Or a big screen TV in every room or the fancy apartment. Regular people don't have big screen TVs in every room. And even if they did, see that big screen TV there? It was $223 at Walmart. So that's not a sign either these days of excessive spending. Don't have the willpower to even think about tomorrow, even if they make good money. They just want the expensive Ford Mustang or big pickup truck. So, encouraging younger people to think differently about money and retirement is a noble thing. Shaming people into changing it almost never works. It almost never works. So there's a lot of good stuff in this comment here, and a lot of stuff that is true. Some of the stuff is kind of true, but the tone towards younger people, I'm not a big fan of. But that's his opinion. And it's not a terrible opinion. It stands. I'm going to leave it out there. I put a like on it. I'm not putting a dislike on it, but I had a reaction to it. So there you go. Richard Cockerill, Canadian here, did quartzsite 3 years, but will miss not going back to the States due to the currency exchange rate and your president's treatment of Canada. Sad to treat your neighbor as he's doing. Very sad. Many Canadians are not returning to visit the USA. Again, I'm going to leave it. Can you make an argument this is totally political? Yeah, but it's there is a I think we'd be foolish to not acknowledge there's animosity now due to our current government's position towards Canada. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that exists. That perception exists. It's sad. I know I have good friends from Canada, so sad. Pete DS says, great video. This is exactly why I love watching your channel. Looking forward to the quartzsite RV park videos. Going to be different for sure, and that's what I think. It's going to be different. Okay. Don Dennison says placebo and nocebo, the opposite of what you think a medication or preserve won't work, are strong. A good study will involve lots of people, double-blind, replicated, and peer-reviewed. Medicine can and should use the mental attitude of the patient as an asset. I'm just wary of using one placebo in animals that cannot communicate their exact needs, and two, relying on it for settled science. Okay, that makes zero sense. There cannot be a placebo effect in the animal, because to have a placebo effect, you have to have an internal belief that the medication is working for you. Animals are not capable of that. Now, it could bias your observation of the animal, right? That could be, but that's not what they're saying. And I did want to say, did you have a point relative to my video content? Yes, regarding what you called grounding mats for your dog's pain, you didn't specify it was like a copper thing. I've heard of those. Likely quackery and placebo. So you're saying I don't have evidence that grounding mats work. Do you have evidence that they don't? Can you cite a study that says it's quackery? What I said in the video was someone in the comments mentioned it could be effective. And like I said, people say stuff, have recommendations all the time, and make suggestions. And I usually check all of them out. And to my surprise, on the grounding mats, there was an NIH study that looked positive, and I did say I didn't have time to read the whole thing, but I will. And if it's a positive study, and it's not copper, it's I believe it's very low level, like electricity is what it is. And if you look at the efficacy of things like TENS unit for muscle pain, there's lots of evidence that that's effective. So this is, I thought the same thing. Grounding mat, come on, that's crazy. But for a $20 investment, it may be worth actually trying for my little dog. So I did leave the comment up there. I've heard of those likely coagulate or placebo. This is someone I probably wouldn't get along well with. That's all I can say. DD Cornell hit an interesting thing. I like your channel because you are not that big and not too small. You get back to your subscribers. I wonder about that when I look at big channels and I look at their comments. They're not really answering many of their comments, if any. And they do a video that gets 50,000 or 100,000 views and 800 comments. You can't. And so I wonder how that really, and you can't even read all of them. You can maybe get a flavor for them. Maybe you could, making enough money, you could hire somebody to do a synopsis of the general mood and what people are saying. I don't know. I think it would be something that would make the channel different, and I don't think it would be good. And I say as good for who? It's good for me. Because obviously if I suddenly had 300,000 subscribers and $100,000 views, it would be good for a lot of people. But I'm saying it wouldn't be that good for me. It's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is this, where I'm really trying to understand what people are saying and what their feedback and what they're thinking. H. Mork says, I love how your coffee cup matches your fan. It's because I had to go did that coffee cup because I lost this one for a day. I misplaced it, but I found it. Popular RV hacks, which ones I actually use and don't use. That's a video I did. And Lisa, hey Lisa says, checklists are so helpful. There are always at least one thing that gets forgotten. I love my truck. It's set up for towing. It has a checklist on it that I go through every time I get hooked up. Yeah, I can't emphasize that enough. If you're pulling a trailer, especially if you're pulling a trailer, or really any RV that you're going to pull, you need a checklist. Because it's so easy to get distracted and forget something that can potentially cause a heck of a lot of damage. Let's see. Carla says, I'm looking forward to watching your videos this winter at an RV park in Quartzsite. Spending a winter in Quartzsite is on my bucket list. As a single senior, I think knowing I have a spot reserved would make me much more comfortable. Happy and safe travels to you. I know there's security in that, and that may be a really good thing for people to do. I've talked to people that worry about a lot about boondocking and in the desert. It can be intimidating, even if you watch a lot of videos on it. So what may be a good idea is to go in an RV park in town for a week or two, or even a month, and take trips out to the desert and maybe talk to people and get to know it and think, hey, this looks like it's for me. So at the end of my 1 or 2 week or month stay, move from the RV park out to the desert. And then if you don't like it, if you can get a reservation, move back in town. But let me tell you, the month of January is almost impossible to get an RV spot anywhere. That's the big month in Quartzsite. I'll just warn you about that. Muskegee Land said, is there an alternative quartzsite someplace near La Cruces? Yeah, there are lots of alternatives to quartzsite. There's Yuma. I mean, I don't know much, Las Cruces. I don't know much about that area, but I certainly know Yuma. A lot of people spend the time in Yuma. There's BLM land. There's an LTVA down there in Yuma. Lake Havasu, north of quartzsite. There's lots of RV parks up there. It's a little pricier up there, but there is some BLM land up there. And the list goes on and on of the places you can spend in the Southwest in the winter. Quartzsite is just kind of a well-known mecca, and I have lots of friends there now. But will it always be quartzsite for me? I kind of doubt it. I don't think I'll be going there for 20 years. I'll try other things. And so Muskegee Land, yeah, there's lots of alternatives. Montana Wife says, for me, I watch your show because I enjoy the information and sense of community. I'm a housebound. See, you wouldn't get that sense of community without this. Not everybody watches this video. Like, I get half the views for my regular video. But I think this video gives us a sense of connection and community that Montana Wife is talking about. I'm housebound because of an injury and live a lot of life through you and content creators like you. I'm so excited to see your new experience in quartzsite. That's one of the things I said. I have viewers that are in the life. There are people that want to be in the life and that they're waiting to retire. Then there are people that want to be in the life, but something is holding them in a stationary place, like caring for themselves, right? You have, like, Montana Wife has an injury, or caring for a loved one, like a spouse, a parent, sometimes even a child. And they live the life as much as they can vicariously. Check out the town of Madrid, New Mexico. This is Muskegee Land again. It's cool. I saw a show on New Mexico. Susan Jack responded to that and said, Madrid, New Mexico is a very interesting town. Years ago, you were able to go into one of the coal mines. I remember visiting the town before it got populated and people started fixing up all the houses. Okay, that's got me interested enough. So right now I'm going to look to see where Madrid, New Mexico is. Maybe it'll be on my way up to Eagle Nest. Who knows? Let's see. There it is. Oh, it took me to Spain. How about putting in New Mexico? Madrid, Spain's not on the way. Just to let you know. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's it.
Head east, then turn right.
Oh, it's 4 hours from here, so no. Oh, it's right near, actually, I don't think I'll do it, but it is kind of on the way to where I'm going. It's near outside Albuquerque. Interesting. Sorry for the distraction there. I just got in Muskegee Land says, what I want to do, I want a home base in Santa Fe and travel the Southwest. I think that sounds great. I think that Santa Fe, my impression is it's on the expensive side, but spend time there, drive around, talk to people. You never know what kind of a deal you may get. No, I would say don't limit your scope to RV parks. RV parks that let you buy in or do a year-round thing, it can be expensive. You could get lucky. You could get a private landowner, like, for instance, someone that has a lot of property. They have a house, and they might have hookups for an RV, and they'll say, I'll let, if you give me X amount of dollars a month, I'll let you have that spot, and I'll give you a little spot in the shed to store things. You can find people like that if you look. and it can be a deep discount to going to the formal places. Alpha Pup says, I think it's because you're not filming in your RV. Answering my question that I posed, why do people think I'm quitting RV life? And I think it's because the background that you see here, the little house that I have in is my home base. Filming in here gives the people the impression, well, he's not in an RV anymore. Well, the RV is just a couple of feet away. Trust me, it's just way more comfortable sitting in here. Montana Wife again says, I'd love to overview your trailer when you first walked in. Seems like a great setup to me. I'm JB Barnes says, I'm 61, planning on retiring in my RV. I need 2 knee replacements first. I enjoy your videos. Well, good luck on those knee replacements. My friend Pup Camper 58, Cheryl, who was in lots of my videos in Quartzsite, and traveled with me to here when she headed off to the east, has 2 knee replacements, and she's in her 70s and does wonderful in the life. Let's see. Bill Oakley says, Rob, your sub numbers grow more when you're parked living in a domicile than you did when you actually lived the life. Interesting. That's really not true. But it may look like it because I had a stretch there where there was hardly any sub growth, and it popped up a little bit here. But my big sub growth happens when I'm in Quartzsite. I admire tenacity in trying to grow your channel while not really living the life. That's just not true. That was the point of the video. So, Bill, you're not really listening to me, or you don't believe me when I say I'm still living the life. I've only been here. Well, let's see. I got here last month in April. I got here April 12th or 13th, something like that, and it's just the end of May. I've been here, it'll be 6 weeks, it'll probably be 7 weeks, and I'll be gone. I certainly would I stay longer than that in Quartzsite, by far. I stayed 4 months in Quartzsite. I stayed in Pahrump in the spring, probably 2 months, 2 to 3 months, in the fall, 2 to 3 months. Come on, cut me a break here. This is Star Bright says, I totally agree with having a checklist. After buying my first RV, I finally found the crank for the TV antenna inside one of the cabinets. So it's a crank, and you crank up your antenna on your roof to get TV reception. I forgot to crank it down, he says. I can still hear the sound it made hitting the low phone line in front of my house. Thwack! My first repair already. I made a note that I attached to my key ring for the next move. We all learn some things by trial and repair. Cheers, Danny. Thanks, Danny. Okay, Rob, you convinced me. New sub and like number 290. I just retired. I'm now building a reconditioned. It must be like 29. I wish I got 290 likes on a video. That'd be nice. I'm now building a reconditioned cargo trailer to tow hauler RV. I will be looking at plenty more of your videos. Cheers, Danny. That's great, Danny. So if you build your own cargo trailer, you can build it to last. You know, not build it like RVs build it for part-time recreational use. You can do it for permanent, full-time. Good for you. Boot 76 says, enjoy your summer up there. It's a beautiful section of the state. It really is. Eagle Nest. I'm boondocking up in Idaho at the moment. Blessed to live my life. Wow, talk about transparency. Thank you, Rob, for sharing personal life details many people don't or can't, plus practical down-to-earth advice. Again, people were a little surprised. I shared what my income is, how much I get from Social Security and my 2 little mini pensions. Yeah, that is personal information, but I disclose personal information when I think it won't harm me. You can't use that to really hurt me, or to commit some kind of fraud with me. It's just basically personal information. But people can see how I live in retirement, and now they know what my resources are. So if you have resources that are somewhere in that neighborhood, more or less, you can adjust for it. I can serve people by letting them know this is what you can do with this little monthly pot of money. So I disclose when I think it's going to be of service to others. Revealing my location and what I pay and everything is not service to anyone, and it could harm me. So that's why you're not getting details other than seeing the inside of this place and the porch, and that's it. Retired broke, out of options, why RV life still works. Crinolan says, thank you for soothing information. So that was a comfort to that person. And Raymond Parsons says, hey, my friend, I think you helped more than just one person. I was saying, if this video helps one person, it's a success. It makes me feel good. Kevin Reed says, this is one person who appreciates your earthiness. I never used her. That feels like a compliment. I'm going to take it as a compliment for sure. I've just never had that word applied to me. Your videos are informative, especially since I turned 65 this year and looking forward to living a nomad life with my husband. Thank you. And 5 people like that. So a lot of people think I'm earthy. Earthy, does that mean down to earth or casual or help? I think that's what it means. Debbie says, Hersko says nothing better than being debt free. And that's what I said. I had put a bunch of retirement money, enough to pay my debts off before I hit the road. And that made a big difference. I was fairly young and made it my retirement secure. You learn to live within your means, and any large purchases are planned well in advance and paid for without debt. It becomes a lifestyle. Good, very good point. I'm looking up at the clock to make sure I have an appointment in 10 minutes. It's early, guys. It's 6:49 a.m. on Saturday. We're just running pure out of May this year. It's May 31st. Tomorrow's June 1st. And in a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, it's going to be summer. Anybody excited other than me about summer? Dame the First, and the question, do you want to see, how should I be doing these comment videos? Should I be reading them all and going an hour, 10 minutes, 20 minutes? And Dame the First says, I like longer talks. I get to listen to you longer, maybe 30 to 40 minutes. We're coming right up on 30 minutes, and we're probably going to go 5 more, so you're probably going to like this one. I just finished, Simply Gypsy said, I just finished building out my 6x12 Carbo Gypsy wagon. I'm 69 years old and I'm planning to get rid of all worldly goods and staying at Corps of Engineers camps in my area. I've lost my husband 14 years ago and our only child 3 years ago. I built out 2 other cargo trailers in the past and traveled in them. I know this is where my piece is. On January 26th, my plan is to go full time. You are blessed, and I just subbed. Wow. Just, it hit me losing the husband. Then you said you lost your only child. Wow. But you have a plan, and my thoughts are with you. They really are. Eve Carrington would love to see you do a video on what you would do differently when planning for retirement. If you could go back and redo everything, make it like 10 steps for retirement planning video. I wouldn't do a video on it because there's so many videos on people that are much more expert than I am on retirement. But my personal thing is, if I had the discipline just to put 10 cents every out of every dollar earned into a retirement fund starting when I got out of college, it would have been a mountain of money. It would have been friggin' enormous. Would it change anything for me right now? I'd probably have a fancier RV. Or maybe it would have led to me doing something completely different and not even considering the RV life, and maybe I would have been miserable. I don't know. That thought just occurred to me as I saw the words coming out of my mouth, and like a cartoon, they were hanging in the air in a bubble. And I thought, if I did things differently and amassed more money, might I have a lifestyle because of that that's much less satisfying than the one I have now, because circumstances drew me to this, because it was, hey, this option's definitely possible, and it drew me into doing research on it and trying it, and then I found I don't think I ever would have considered it. Wow. So maybe the video is what I would do differently is make sure I don't do anything differently. I don't know. That's a really fascinating thing. I still got time. Don Collin Creator says, thanks for caring, Robert. Really comes across in the video. And you know, guys, thank you. That video did pretty well. I think let's see. It did over 4,000 views, and it's still getting a few views every day. That's pretty remarkable. I'm pretty happy with that. And that was just kind of an off the cuff idea to do a video. So I'm gonna wrap this up because I got to get ready for my meeting at 7 a.m. and I'm going to take care of that. And then after that, I'm going to take Dottie out. Well, do we know where Dottie is? Dottie. Okay, we need to see Dottie. There's Dottie. And where's George? George, where are you? George? George is hiding behind the couch. Because you know what? George was just there a second ago. Dottie and I are going to go for a little walk, and then I'll come back and do the positive news video. And then I have another meeting, just 2 meetings, and I'm free as a bird for the rest of the day, and I have no idea what I'm going to do. Isn't that exciting? Actually, I do know one thing I'm going to do. I'm starting to move a couple of things out of the storage into the truck for my trip to Eagle Nest. And it's not that many things. So I'm kind of preparing for that. And that's it. And I hope you tell me how you liked this format. I'm trying to find my way with reading the comments and what's good for people and what isn't. Just feel free to say, I like it, I don't like it, should be longer, should be shorter, you should read everyone's. Someone's talking to me. Some electronic device is talking to me. We'll figure out what it is. See you in the positive news video, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. Take care.